Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, you saw it, I actually promoted it in the community tab yesterday, but today we are talking to former Auburn, former Florida A&M, and current Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive tackle. It's Calvin Ashley. Calvin, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Again, hey, we just talked about it a moment ago. Seriously, man, thank you for coming on, doing this interview. It's
my pleasure.
It's really sweet to have you on, man. So, listen, bro, so we're going to get started talking about your time back in college, right?
Right.
So, looking back at your time in Auburn and then Florida A&M, you know, I've talked about this with a couple of other players, but who were some of the players or coaches or just people in general who helped you along the way and were mentors to you?
Most definitely. I would say my offensive line coach, Herb Hand, he was definitely a mentor to me. Gus Malzahn as well. I say those two were the definitely mentors. I can't forget about Scott Fountain my freshman year. You know, he recruited me. Loves Coach Fountain and Dev. So those three I would definitely say the three coaches who were mentors to me. Players-wise, I would say Marlon Davidson and Derrick Brown. Those two, they definitely mentored me and kept my head straight through football.
I gotcha. And were those guys really big influences? And we'll talk about this in a little bit, but in terms of those guys saying, hey, Calvin, you know, maybe taking a step into the NFL, maybe going for that, that might be something you might want to look into.
That was me and the family decision.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Right on.
Yeah.
So, again, we just mentioned this, but you know, kind of expanding on it a little bit more, you know, what helped influence your decision in college throughout playing that made you want to get into the NFL? You know, you just mentioned family. You know, I totally understand where you're coming from, you know, wanting to support your family and everything like that. Kind of talk about that kind of process and that decision making.
You know, I'm married. I have a 2-year-old, so that pretty much itself, you know, led me to the decision to be playing early for the NFL draft. Unfortunately, COVID year had happened, took place, and our season had got canceled. So I had a big decision to make, you know, whether I was going to focus on my professional career or was I going to stay in college a whole extra 2 years. So I decided to just take that leap and just focus on training, you know, and get my mind and my body right to perform at the next level.
Yeah. And you know, I agree with that, man. Like it, you know, like on paper, it's like, you know, a 2-year difference, but that's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
like that 2 whole years, man. Like that is a very big difference in terms of like me and you are around the same age. You know what I mean? We're pretty close together in age. So like, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, especially for like young guys like us, like 2 years, it's like, dude, come on. Like, I don't want to wait anymore. You know what I mean?
Definitely time is going by slow, man.
Right.
Very slow.
So, kind of talk about that pre-draft process. You know, that's like pro days, workouts, meetings, everything else, you know, in between, especially with, you know, the illness going on and everything like that. Like, what was that like kind of going through that pre-draft process and really getting ready to be in NFL shape?
Right. It was a lot. We had to move back to Orlando, having a trainer there, TP, Tony Quanton, went back to Orlando. I pretty much trained there from the time I declared up until, I say November. And then January, I had trained with Tom Shaw up until pro day.
Okay.
So it was pretty much just an intense training, you know, just steady training. You know, I lost 40 pounds leading up to pro day. So it took a lot of weight off of me, and I feel good, feel like a totally different person. So I felt like my time away, you know, just training and just focusing on football only, that helped out a lot. It's definitely.
Well, I imagine you would say it's probably the most intense training you've ever gone through in your life.
Oh, definitely.
Now,
definitely.
Now I will say, in the research and plus just, you know, from knowing you, right, your build, I've seen 2 numbers, 6'6", 323, 6'7", 330. So right now, kind of where are you at right now in terms of like overall size and build?
Right now, I'm 6'6.5" and 312.
We can round up 6'7", you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I always round up with that stuff, man. Okay, so 6'6.5", 6'7", and then 312. Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Next, coming into the NFL, you know, this is talking about versatility. You know, coming into the NFL, you played both guard and tackle, right? In college football. Which one are you looking to play in terms of, you know, comfortability, if that's a word, in the NFL? And then right now as it stands, you know, what do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of view you as?
Definitely, I would say I'm definitely comfortable at tackle. You know, if need be, I have to move it to guard. I'm definitely fine with that.
Right.
They consider me as a right tackle, so definitely I'm comfortable with that. Definitely going to focus in on that. But if they need to move me, they can move me. So whatever, I'm fine with it. I'm versatile, so
right.
That's a great thing.
Well, you know, just mentioning it real quick is like, you know, especially in the NFL, having that kind of versatility is so freaking huge. You know, being able to have that flexibility to play, you know, really any position on the line. And I actually have a question from a viewer that'll, you know, talk a little bit deeper about that in a little bit. But, yeah, flexibility is insanely important, you know, so that's awesome. So this one was interesting, you know, looking at some of the offensive linemen in the NFL, is there anyone specifically that you emulate your game from, or that you kind of watch tape on and go, yeah, I kind of want to be that style of player. I kind of want to go with what that guy's going in terms of technique and, you know, overall build and stuff like that, both at tackle and guard.
Right. I definitely watch a lot of tape on Trent Williams. You know, I love his style of play. I love it. That's somebody who I just really looked up to, you know, growing up. It's the way he played, just dominant. He's being dominant on the field, the way he moved quick and fast, and just his IQ, just smartness, where to be at. You know, I love that type of playing style. That's how I imitate the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best in the game right now.
Definitely.
You know, he's one of the top tackles, man. Anybody at guard specifically in terms of like
at guard, I haven't really focused in on that. I just pretty much been in tackles, but I'm definitely start focusing on the guard as well if need be moved.
I gotcha. Right on, man. Right on. So Trent Williams has been a very big inspiration. Obviously, you guys have very similar builds as well. So right on, man. That's sick. Leading up to the draft, you know, we already talked about the pre-draft process, but, you know, did you have any type of contact with teams? Obviously, you had some contact with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but in terms of going through that process on, you know, the 3 draft days and, you know, pre-draft process, you know, did you have any contact with any teams? And if so, what were those teams? And was there, you know, any level of interest in terms of being drafted?
Definitely, I would say Denver Broncos, they like me a lot. Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, Miami Dolphins. Those teams I communicated with pretty much a lot, you know, leading up to draft day. So I feel like everything worked out itself.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Tampa Bay is a great place. I'm home in Florida. You know, the weather is beautiful. You know, I'm excited for the opportunity, honestly, and I'm ready to get to work.
And you just mentioned it a little bit, is kind of staying at home, you know, and staying with Tampa Bay. But like, you know, after the draft, you had options. You know, you just mentioned all the teams that were interested in you, you know, in the pre-draft process and even on draft day. So like, what led you to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers specifically to go along with that feeling of familiarity, you know, being in Florida still?
Right, definitely. Being in Florida, that played a big part. You know, I love being home in Florida. Pretty much just the offensive line, you know, just the offense. You know, I felt like I fit in. Yeah. Honestly, I felt like I fit in. Looking between the team that I had the opportunity to sign with, I felt like Tampa was the best place.
I gotcha. And then also, you know, the defending Super Bowl champs never hurts either. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So in terms of people on the offensive line, is there anybody where you're kind of sitting there going, hey, I'm going to be pumped to get in here, kind of learn from this guy and kind of, you know, kind of attach myself to them and kind of soak up as much information as possible?
Right. Anybody, you know, I'm a sponge. I learn from anybody. You know, I'm just a sponge. You know, I'm always willing to learn, be a student of the game. So that's anybody in the O-line. Vets, you know, 1, 2 years, you know, I'm just willing to learn from anybody. Anything I can learn is great. Right
on, man. So looking ahead, if everything stands right now, you know, rookie mini camp's going to start May 15th, you know, according to Coach Arians. And hopefully a preseason as well. Fingers crossed for that, you know. Is it reassuring knowing that there's going to be those off-season activities, you know, and hopefully a sense of normality going into this off-season, you know, with the illness going on, you know, because I remember last year we'd heard about it, whereas like, man, a lot of these young guys, you know, their growth and their development and whatnot, even some of the opportunities that they would be getting to, you know, have chances to show what they can do, all of that has been going away. due to the fact that just nothing's been able to happen. So, I mean, now coming into this offseason, how does it feel knowing like, okay, I'm good here. We've actually got stuff I can work with now.
Right. I definitely feel like it's a great thing. Like when COVID started, nothing was guaranteed or nothing. You didn't know anything. So I pretty much feel like it's getting more back to normal. So I feel like everything is going to be a great place. I feel like everything is going to go as planned. So that's a great thing coming in as a rookie. You can do everything. You can develop right, so learn the program, so instead of being thrown in the fire once camp get here. So I feel like this is a great thing, a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple of players about that as well, where it's like a frustrating thing because you're like, man, like I'm here, but it's stressful, to have those opportunities wasted, especially for really young guys where it's like, I can't even show what I can do right now to these NFL teams. You know what I mean? So like you said, it's really good to have that normality now and kind of, hey, things are getting better now. So it's like, now we can actually, have normal off-season activities.
Definitely.
We've talked about like mini camps and things like that. In terms for you, Calvin, in terms of personal goals going into your rookie season, do you have any personal goals in terms of things that you want to accomplish in your rookie year?
My personal goal, I would say definitely to learn. Just be a sponge. Just be a student of the game. Just soak everything in. If I have the ability to, just make the roster, that's perfect for me. Definitely, I got a great feeling about that. God willing. So I pretty much feel like just learning, be a sponge to everything coming in my first year.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Like, like I said, we're around the same age. So like it's so important, not just in the NFL, but going into any job, just trying to soak up as much info as you can, like your first year, and trying to like, oh man, this is what I'm going to have to do. This is how I'm going to have to act and stuff like that. I actually talked to John Molchon here on the channel, guard for the Buccaneers. And he said one of the biggest things for his rookie year was going in and learning how to be an NFL player, like learning how to like set a schedule, be that guy who's going to come in and like act like a professional. You know what I mean? So could you say kind of like coming in now for your rookie year, it's probably a similar goal is to kind of be like, okay,
most definitely,
I'm going to learn how to be an NFL player here,
Exactly. Most definitely.
I feel you. Okay. Talking about versatility here again, Calvin, you can be effective playing guard, tackle, and as we saw at the Senior Bowl, you can move your talent all the way inside and play some center as well. So like we talked about earlier, again, that versatility along the offensive line, just kind of go into that, like kind of going a little bit into the ins and outs of playing, or I guess the differences rather, of playing center, guard, tackle. I know you said you're comfortable playing tackle, but in terms of talking about guard and center, talk about like the versatility and honestly, I guess the differences of playing those positions.
Right. So definitely, playing the tackles, playing right or left tackle, you have to pretty much just switch the plays, So one thing on the other side, you just got to switch that and moving on the inside, smaller steps. It's a tight space you got to deal with. If you overset somebody, that might be a sack on the quarterback. Right. So you just got to pay close attention to details with that. With center, never played center, but I'm willing to learn, definitely. That's a whole different ball game.
Right.
Shouts to them. So basically, I feel like everything you can learn. I'm very coachable, so
right.
I feel like versatile, definitely. Just willing to learn.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything.
Absolutely, man. These next couple of questions come from Mr. Valentarama, and the first question is this. At which point in your life or career did you decide to become a lineman? And what circumstances or people impacted or influenced that decision?
Right. I've been a lineman since I was about 5 years old.
Right.
Offense and defensive lineman. That pretty much was stuck with me ever since. Never played any other position. Mm-hmm. Always offensive line and defensive line since 5 years old.
Right.
So
that's
been that since day one.
Right. What specifically wanted you to pick offensive line then over defensive line?
Right. I feel like I can dominate more and just manhandle people.
Right.
The physicality, just pancake somebody, see the ball, running back, run right past you.
Right. I think there's something, obviously there's something for blowing up an offensive lineman, but in terms of an offensive lineman, I would think it's pretty darn rewarding to just put down a D lineman, you know?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
See them touchdown getting scored. So I feel like that's the best position on the field, if you ask me.
It's one of the most important by far, you know? Absolutely. And then the second question here is, what is your daily routine? So how do you keep your body in game shape? And does it require to consume a lot of food every day? Now that is the second question there.
Yeah, definitely. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. My first alarm goes up at 4:30. I'm going to try to get to the gym by 5:15. I do yoga in the morning, early in the morning. I start my day off doing yoga.
Okay.
So I do that for about an hour and a half. And I do workouts right after that immediately. Try to get back home by 9:30, 10 o'clock. My son he be waking up around that time. So I pretty much do that. That's my daily routine.
Yeah, I got you. You know, man, like it's interesting because, you know, I think people overlook that aspect of it, man. Like you're waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go work out, and then you have to come back and be a dad. You know what I mean? Like that definitely. Balance is literally insane to me. You know, like to keep that kind of pace, man, like whenever people kind of overlook that, it's like when you really break it down and do your research and talk to some of these guys, and it's like, no, actually, this is incredibly difficult, matter of fact, you know? So, I mean, like, hey, props to you for that, man. And then also, you know, this is part of the question, but, you know, you've seen like I guess memes, for lack of a better word, but you've seen the memes of like, you know, sometimes the offensive lineman or the defensive lineman get these just gigantic platters of food. Nothing like that, I imagine. In your routine. That's usually on their cheat days, though.
Right, definitely. Meal prepping. You know, I meal prep on Sundays throughout the week, so I have lunch and dinner. You know, and I grab breakfast on the go, something like Chick-fil-A, nice and high in protein.
Right.
So I get that going, and pretty much I just be consistent.
Right.
That's how I lost all my weight when I was meal prepping in Orlando. So pretty much now I'm just adding on muscle, so a lot of protein.
Right. You said
nice snack is a shake.
Right. Okay. I gotcha. So you said you lost 40 pounds, right? Between the pre-draft process into now.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. I think I've asked every player this, but coming to the Buccaneers, Tom Brady's obviously on the team.
Right.
Are you going to get on the TB12 method?
I was actually, it's crazy because he was in the gym one day working out. We were just going, JV Ellie played for the Bucs.
Yeah.
A few years ago. Yeah. So we pretty much just going over the TB12 site. It's just amazing, you know, just all the stuff on there. So I feel like that's great. You know, I might keep looking into it, honestly.
I can tell you from personal experience, because here on the channel, we actually had an experiment where I spent an entire week on the TB12 method. Right. And it was good. I mean, I thought it was very enjoyable, drinking a lot of water with electrolytes, of course, you know, pliability and things like that. You know, you got to spend a little bit of money for all the workout equipment and whatnot if you don't have your own. But I will say the hardest thing I found about it was actually finding places to shop. You know, and if I ever got, because it's so specific about certain things you can and cannot eat in the book. So if I ever get a chance to talk to Tom Brady, I'm gonna have to ask him where he shops, because I mean it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, absolutely. But Calvin, the last question here is looking ahead to camps and other stuff that we just talked about and everything coming up to your rookie season. You know, what should Buccaneers fans and NFL fans expect from Calvin Ashley here coming into the NFL?
Right, they're definitely going to see a hard-working player. And most of all, they're going to see a respectful player on and off the field. On the field, you know, I'm going to be this football player. I'm dominant, and I'm going to be learnable. I'm going to be coachable off the field. I'm going to be the guy who gets along with everybody, be respectful. You know, I'm a father and husband at the end of the day. So pretty much respect. So, yeah, you know, I'm just going to be that person you get along with on and off the field.
Absolutely. And just I can expand on this because just from personal experience here, and I mean this, I'm not being biased just because you're here on the channel, but like thoughtful, smart, you know what I mean? Right. Like, and hardworking, just from the very short interactions we've had, man, like, I think you're going to go in and excel right away in the NFL, man. And I mean that. Yes, you know,
thank you.
Like I really do think you've got the intangibles and the physical attributes and everything to be successful, man. And I'm going to be insanely excited to watch you play here, man. I really am.
I appreciate it.
It's going to be an absolute blast. But guys, let us know what you thought about everything we talked about down in the comment section below. And hey, Calvin, again, thank you so much for being on, man. I really do greatly appreciate it, bro.
No problem.
I'd love to have you on the channel again here soon so we can just continue talking about your journey through the NFL and just having some great conversations, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, so Calvin, before we go ahead and finish off this video, do you have any final words before we head out?
No Bucs.
Yes, sir. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, we will see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. Calvin, can you do the salute with me? And go Bucs. Go Bucs. Thank you, guys. See you soon.